Well, in the words of Daphne and Celeste, there ain't no alibi, you UGLY, you ugly. You ugly. Yes, that was an ugly game last night, an ugly victory, but a victory nonetheless. Rangers through to the next round of the Scottish Cup. I think I've covered all the Scottish in that. Obviously, as well, the focus now switches, doesn't it? It switches to a massive game on Wednesday night. It certainly feels a little strange to call a game against Ross County massive. But it's not really the team that makes it massive. It's more the outcome or the potential outcome of the game that makes it massive. The potential to go top of the league with a victory, and a good victory at that. We'll, of course, build up to that here on the channel. So much coming up this week as we build up towards the Ross County game. Pod tomorrow night with myself and Lorah. Pod on Tuesday night with myself, Lorah, and Andrew from the Inside Ibrox channel. So lots to look forward to. And obviously the live stream on Wednesday night, guys. It is the only Valentine's Day organized plans you need to have is watching the game here on Glasgow Rangers Nation with me. Well, look, yesterday's game, what can we say? It was ugly. Yes, as ugly as Johnny Hayes, as ugly as Scott Brown, and certainly as ugly as Kyogo. It was a game that Rangers win. Rangers had to win. It was kind of a job done kind of scenario. What else was it going to be? I've got to give Air credit. They did come out and play. They didn't park the bus. They didn't, just sort of try and resort to kicking the bejesus out of Rangers. They did actually try and, play out from the back. They did try and play football. So obviously, it's difficult to say this, but respect to Scott Brown and his team for that. It's just, that does make me feel slightly queasy inside. Yeah, I think I might need to go and have a lie down after this. That doesn't feel good. That does not feel good. Okay, stop it. There we go. Anyway, so yesterday, what can we take, the positives from yesterday? There's got to be positives we take from yesterday. Yes, there's positives. Of course, there's positives. Positive number one is we're through to the next round of the Cup. It really doesn't matter at this stage of the Cup how you get through, how you progress. It's a case of just getting through and winning. Now, I think there's a few fans who'll be disappointed. Obviously, reading the comments on the videos, reading the comments on some of the lives we've done, there's a lot of fans hoping for an easy victory, a 4, 5, 6, maybe nil victory over Ayr United. But look, as I said on the video yesterday, even though I did put it 4-0, so I guess I'm kind of talking a little bit out of the top of my head here, but, it's never easy being Rangers because the fact that teams raise their game when they play us, they always do. Everyone hates us. We don't care. That's just how it is. The other thing, I suppose, is a slight negative, which I'll get to in a bit, which is our lack of clinical cutting edge up front, our lack of a final touch. Listening to the commentators and watching the game back after I got back from what I was doing today. Thanks to Lorah for stepping in and doing the reaction video last night. But look, there is a negative. As they said in the commentary, she said, up until the last touch, it is good for Rangers, and it certainly was. A team that, did what Philippe Clement said he was going to do, didn't he? Rotated. Back, I was surprised to see Jack Butland in goal. I did honestly think that he would maintain his playing of Robbie McCrory in the Cup up until obviously we came across someone like a Celtic or an Aberdeen. Back four of Tav, Goldson, Suter, and Barisic coming back in for Ridvan Yilmaz. Barisic had a decent game, didn't he? But like I said, I think we've got to say, it was only Ayr United, guys. Let's get some perspective on this. I thought Goldson was not great again. I thought he was pretty poor, if I'm being honest. John Suter did well. Tav was Tav. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to get into it because I know if I criticize him, I'm going to get absolutely pulled to pieces and slaughtered. And, it's almost like, I don't know, peeing on the Quran or peeing on a Bible. It is that offensive to some people, even criticizing James Taven. Yeah. I thought Ryan Jack did very well. Played his 70 minutes. Great to get 70 minutes in to Ryan Jack's legs. Really good, really positive there. Did well. Nicholas Raskin, again, another game towards fitness. Don't think he was as bad as a lot of fans have made him out to be. Yes, he wasn't great. Yes, he wasn't brilliant. But again, he's making his way back to fitness. And I think there's a lot of unfair criticism of Nicholas Raskin going on. And we need to give him time to get back to what he was last season. That's just what it is. New signings played Diamande and Cortes. Diamande did okay. Wasn't awful. Wasn't brilliant. Was okay. I think he's still, again, looking like he needs to get his match fitness back. The guy hasn't played a proper full game since November. Yes, he came on the other night, but still, he needs to get his match sharpness back. And as I once heard a professional footballer say, it could take anything up to 4 to 6 weeks to get your game legs back. So, look, it's going to take him time. I thought Cortes was absolutely phenomenal. Yes, it was only a United. Got to keep telling ourselves that. Skillful, quick, played very well. I thought Scott Wright was okay. I don't think he was as bad as a lot of people make him out to be. I didn't think he was brilliant. I didn't think he was terrible. I just thought he was okay. And look, I think the problem we've got with Scott Wright is there's a lot of fans who have a preconceived idea about him, and I must admit I'm as guilty of it as anybody. But we've got to stop judging these players by our preconceived ideas of them. And I guess I'm as guilty as anybody of that. But there's a lot of fans who have this preconceived idea of Scott Wright, and no matter what he does, it will never be good enough. Maybe I've got the same attitude towards Cyril Dessers. I don't know. Fabio Silva played up front, was okay, wasn't terrible, wasn't brilliant. Scored a goal that he scored. We'll come on to that, obviously. Subs McCrory, Ridvan Lundstrom, Dessers, Cantwell, Matondo, Davis is back, King and McCausland. A strong bench tonight, which obviously gave Philippe Clement a number of options. So, the game, we started well. We played well in the first sort of 5 to 10 minutes and really could have been 2 or 3 up by that point. Cortes with 2 fantastic shots that could have easily on another day rippled the back of the net to give us a lead. I thought Cortes was excellent, absolutely excellent. So Cortes plays a fundamental part again in the first goal, getting a defender's ball, cuts the ball back, and Borna Barisic is there to score a deflected effort into the back of the net. Now, that's a coupon buster, isn't it? That is a bet card buster. Who had that down as your first goal scorer? Borna Barisic. He could have had another goal later on, wasn't it? The shot was actually kind of blocked and defended by the keeper, stopped him from getting his second. So not too bad at all. And I thought that first half we created an awful lot of chances. Cortes had chances. Yeah, like I said, Borna had a chance. I think we missed a lot of chances in that first half. And again, it comes back to this argument of having that clinical 9, someone to really finish off teams, someone to put the ball in the back of the net on a regular basis, something that does seem to be lacking at times from this Rangers team. There is a real worry, I think, going forward, a real concern. And I do want to touch on that a bit later in the video, in the podcast, about, what options do we have realistically going forward towards the end of the season. Look, you look at the chances. I mean, 20 shots, but only 26 shots, but only 6 of those were on target. Realistically, that is not a good enough conversion rate. That is a pretty poor conversion rate. 67% possession to 33. Apparently, according to the stats I mean, we didn't play any passes. I'm sure that's not true. 12 fouls by us, 1 yellow card, no reds, no offsides, no corners. But, again, 26 shots, but only 6 on target is slightly concerning from Rangers' point of view. We could have had that game done and dusted by half time, put to bed, but obviously did not happen. Again, it's just, again, a lack of being able to put the ball in the back of the net, a lack of being able to really finish teams off when we need to, a lack of, of that killer instinct. When was the last time you saw a Rangers team go out there and really roll somebody over and, really smash somebody up? It's been a while, hasn't it? It really has been a while. So obviously, Philippe Clement goes to his bench. He makes those changes. He is not afraid to make a change, is he? To change things. He's not afraid to give the team a bit of a shake-up from time to time, as we saw against Aberdeen the other night. After 10 minutes, when he decided it wasn't working, makes that change. So on 61 minutes, an hour into the game, some 50 minutes in the second half, he makes a change. Obviously, Barisic off, Cortes off, and Diomande off. Very much as he'd said in his news conference that obviously Cortes and Diomande weren't going to be able to play 90 minutes. Barisic off. On comes Ridvan. On comes Matondo. And on comes Todd Cantwell. Look, I've got to say that Todd Cantwell was fantastic last night when he came on. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, he obviously played a part in the silver goal with some, a great turn, a great move, a great little dink ball to the back post. I don't know what's happened to Todd Cantwell between what we saw at the start of this season and perhaps even the start of this year to now, but we are seeing a completely different Todd Cantwell. I mean, he looks a player. He looks a class above. A lot of times he is really doing the business. And, he obviously didn't score today, but we did keep up that run of goals that he scored. But I thought he was brilliant again today. Absolutely brilliant. Todd, for me, is coming right at the right part of the season. As long as we can keep Todd moving forward and, improving as he is, then that stands us in great stead on the run into the end of the season. 70 minutes, John Lundstrom comes on. I don't know whether you notice, Lundstrom comes on and he's automatically yelling and shouting at other players, trying to raise levels, trying to improve levels on the park. And it's not long after that, obviously, the goal from Fabio Silva comes. Bit of a confusion in the box. It breaks. Silva turns, spins on it and smashes it in the back of the net. Can't help but feel if that chance falls to Cyril Dessers, it ends up in row Z of the stand, or even up in space. But yeah, a good finish by Silva to make it 2-0 to Rangers. I mean, realistically, we never really looked in danger, I don't think, of letting Ayr back into the game. We just, didn't have that killer instinct, that ability to take that final touch, put the ball in the back of the net when we need to. That is something that is really, really lacking for me. Obviously, the last change was on 84 when Raskin comes off and Leon King comes on. Obviously, Philippe Clement trying to get as many minutes as he can into Nicholas Raskin. Now, look, one of the things I've kind of picked up from today's game is, obviously, you've got to couch it in the terms that, yes, it's only Ayr United, but you can argue the same against Aberdeen to some extent on Tuesday night, that we didn't obviously take chances that were created for us. Against Ross County on Wednesday, going forward, we're going to have to start taking these chances, putting the ball in the back of the net, boosting our goal difference. When we play that lot at Ibrox again, you go back to the game at Parkhead, a game we probably should have won had we had more of a cutting edge. There's been times this season where the cutting edge has not been there. The Aberdeen game away, the Celtic game away, where it's really cost us points. And you look at what we've got at this moment in time, and you look at the sort of the top four striking options we have, five kind of. Obviously, present incumbents are Cyril Dessers and Fabio Silva, it's Kemar Roof, Danilo, and a push. You can put Abdallah Seamer up there, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Now, obviously, Kemar Roof never fit. Even when he comes back, no guarantees he's going to stay fit. So that's obviously, you've got to kind of push him to one side. Danilo is pretty much done for the season, or might be back in April, possibly. So, we can kind of disregard him, which leaves us with Cyril Dessers and Fabio Silva. Now, Silva's starting to look a little bit better. He is a very talented player, a very good player. And I personally think he's probably the best option of the four that we have, or five, if you include Zach Lovelace. Maybe we'll touch on Zach Lovelace. So, for me, Silva is the best of the options. Now, Abdallah Seamer is probably the best finisher of those five people there, but he's out injured. So again, he's not going to be back to the end of the season, despite that, he is a very good player. Cyril Dessers, look, nothing against the lad. He tries hard, he works hard, but he's just not good enough for Rangers. His heading technique is poor. His hold-up play is poor. He doesn't work the whole back four like Silva. He misses absolute sitters. I mean, the game against Aberdeen, he misses 3 chances. He skies balls right, left, and centre. To me, is just not good enough. And I just worry that if he's playing in a big game, a game that really matters, like the Old Firm in April, like a European tie, the ball falls to him. We need him to score. It's one chance and through. He skies it, hits it straight at the keeper, or puts it wide. That's my worry about him. That made my big worry about him. I'm sorry, I just don't rate him in the slightest. I don't think he's ever going to come good for the club. I just don't think he is a Rangers quality striker. And Boyd, he was right. Rangers 9 needs to have better numbers than what he has got. Zach Lovelace obviously is an option going forward, but again, he's just a kid learning his trade. And the only game he has played in the first team this season was out on the wing. So look, that is still a major concern for me. And you look in the reserves, you look in the youth team, you look in the B team. There is no one at the moment. So we do have to run with that. For me, what the way to overcome that is for the likes of Todd Cantwell, which he is doing, to step up and get goals, which he is doing. McCausland to chip in, Matondo to chip in, Cortes to chip in, Diamande to chip in, Ryan Jack to chip in. People had to chip in, Lunny to chip in. The midfielders to all push it a little bit and try and get a few goals. And that, for me, is one of the things I really do need to see from this Rangers team going forward. I thought Jack did well today. Philippe Clement had something very interesting to say post-match about Mohamed Diamande. He talked about the fact that Diamande was playing a little bit higher than he is used to. So quite clearly, Clement doesn't really see him, his primary position or his best position as a 10. It's probably more as an 8. So could we see Diamande in alongside Lundstrom in the future? That certainly seems to be something that Philippe Clement is hinting at in his post-match press conference. Of course, Philippe Clement and all the team's eyes now must surely turn to Wednesday and to the upcoming Ross County game. That's the big one, guys. We've got to get the win in that. We've got to win back by a few goals and obviously then take over from that lot at the top of the league and really lay the pressure down onto them. Look, today wasn't pretty, wasn't brilliant, wasn't terrible. It was, as Daphne and Celeste used to say, it UGLY, it ugly. And it was a bit ugly, wasn't it? Today, it's kind of, you can kind of put that to, as much as you might have wanted a roaring 4-5-0 win, you can kind of put that to one side and kind of say, well, look, at least we're through. We go again in the quarterfinal. We push it. Now, the quarterfinal, obviously, the draw will take place prior to the Airdrie Hearts game, obviously after the St Mirren Celtic game. So at the moment, as it stands, the teams who are in the quarterfinal draw are Greenock Morton, Aberdeen, Hibernian, Livingston, Rangers, St Mirren or Celtic, Airdrie or Hearts. Realistically, you're probably going to get Celtic go through against St Mirren. The refs will do their best. Willie Collum again, by the way, today, absolutely shocking. I mean, probably the worst referee in Scotland, Willie Collum, and considering Nick Walsh exists, that's quite an achievement. Airdrie and Hearts, probably Hearts to go through. So at the moment, the confirmed, that is the confirmed list: Morton, Aberdeen, Hibs, Kilmarnock, Livy, and us, with obviously Celtic or St Mirren, Airdrie or Hearts, which will be decided today. Yeah, like I said, Willie Collum, absolutely awful. And as I said, when Nick Walsh exists, it is quite an achievement to be the worst ref in Scotland. Well, guys, please hit that sub, ring that notification bell, and obviously help the channel to keep on growing. And on the way out, I need you to do 2 favors for me. Number 1 is to smash the like, and number 2 is to remember always, we are the people.